Hey besties, welcome to the Multifaceted Mindset, the podcast for visionaries who refuse to live one-dimensional lives. This is episode 3, and we'll be diving into how to actually use the GLAD framework to move from intention to completion. I'm your host, Eternity Sledge, aka the Multifaceted Black Guide. I operate as a catalyst of transformation, embodying creativity, resilience, and purpose. If you're new here, we talk about designing a life you don't need a vacation from, which all starts with gratitude. Today, I am grateful for my alma mater, the illustrious Fisk University. I'm also grateful for my ability to make cakes, to be a baker, and that being something that's passed down. So I guess the third thing I'll be grateful for is legacy. Being someone who's able to bake cakes is something that was passed down to me from my grandmother. It's passed from my great grandma down to my grandma, down to my mom, down to me. So it's really great for me to be able to uphold that legacy. And that becomes your new habit. It becomes your new normal. Your body no longer remembers what it was like to get up and go to the gym. Now it's accustomed to what it feels like to stay in the bed. And most people think that's just discipline, but it's more than discipline. It's also having a system in place. So if you had a system in place, for example, you were grateful for the fact that you have the body and the limbs to be able to go to the gym. You're grateful for your gym membership and being able to afford it or have it in your apartment or in your house, wherever it may be. Your delusion is that you want to be able to go to the gym 6 days a week, maybe instead of 7 days a week. And that will give you that one day to rest. So instead of your day of rest being something you take randomly, it's something that is a part of your daily habits. As I mentioned, we are talking about the GLAD framework today. For a refresher, GLAD stands for gratitude, logistics, audacity, and delusion. Gratitude is understanding who you are and where you are right now and celebrating that, being thankful for that. L is for logistics. That's creating a plan to get from your gratitude to your delusion. A is audacity, taking those actions, being audacious, going for it. And D is creating a reality that does not currently exist, which could literally be anything. Now that we had our refresher on what the GLAD framework is, let's talk about the truth behind the struggle that would require us to use this GLAD framework. So for a lot of people, they don't fail because they don't want it. They don't fail because they just aren't disciplined enough. They fail because they don't have a system in place. Not having that system in place is making things so much more difficult for you. And so I'll give you an example. If you were trying to be more consistent in the gym, and we all have heard it takes 21 days to make a habit. And so say for those 21 days, you were doing good. You were getting up and you were going to the gym. You were going to the gym 7 days a week. You were pushing yourself very, very hard. And then it comes to a holiday or a birthday and then it comes to a day where you're a little bit more tired than you usually are. So you listen to your body and you rest. You don't go to the gym. And then the next day, you snuggle up a little bit tighter. And the next day, you snooze your alarm.
And the next day, and the next day, and the next day, and the next day.
And now it's been 21 days of you not going to the gym. Just as easy as it was, it's probably easier actually. It's much easier for you to break that habit of going to the gym than it was for you to continue the habit of going to the gym, because laying in bed is easier. There's no friction there. There's no reason that you feel like you have to get out of the bed. And so that's when we need a system in place. When we don't address the fact that we need systems in order for us to get to that success, in order for us to stray away from failing, then our goals begin to stay theoretical. You stop trusting in yourself. You no longer can depend on yourself. They're just an idea. They're just a theory. They are not actually coming to fruition. They're not becoming real, right? And the goal is, yes, we're chasing our delusion, which is a reality that doesn't currently exist, but we want that reality to exist. If we aren't putting a system in place for it to exist, it's going to make it much more difficult for it to come to reality. It's also going to be much more difficult to trust yourself. If you're saying that you're going to do something and you're not following through, the next time you say you're going to do something, not only are other people not going to trust you, but your mind, your body is not going to trust what you just said. Your words will start to weigh a little bit less. You'll start to have a little bit less trust in yourself. And that's not what we want, because that affects you not just mentally, but physically, emotionally. It'll affect you in all of your relationships. It might even affect your job performance. It'll affect your self-care, your self-love. And we want that to always stay positive, always stay great. So we don't want to erode our self-trust. You also might get into a cycle of constantly restarting things instead of ever finishing them. You may be continuing to do those same 3 steps over. There may be this little thing you want to change and another little thing you want to change and another little thing, and you'll never get to the finish line because you're so focused on the little things. You're not having this system in place that tells you, okay, this is good, let's move on. So we want to shift our mindset. GLAD really is more than just a mindset. Really, it's a movement. It's pushing you to be grateful, be delusional, be audacious, but still be logistical. I feel like a lot of times people don't put in the work that they need to get the outcomes that they desire. If you're doing the bare minimum, it's going to be much harder for you to get this great outcome that you're looking for. If you're not doing the mindset work, once you hit that level that you want to be, you're still going to be in the mindset of the person who you were. You want to start creating the reality that doesn't currently exist by stepping into that lifestyle, doing the work. In GLAD, each pillar supports a different phase of the execution of your goal. That gratitude is where you are initially. Right now, I am 23 and I am not a millionaire. I have a couple of different things in place that'll help me on my journey towards wealth building, but I'm not currently a millionaire. My delusion is by the time I turn 30 years old, I want to be a millionaire. That's the position that I want to be in. Both mentally, I want to carry myself as a millionaire, and financially, I want to actually be a millionaire. And then in the middle, the bridge that connects my gratitude to my delusion, that L is going to be logistics. That is me actually sitting down, hey, what are my debts that I need to pay off? What are the vehicles I'm going to use to increase the income that I have coming in? What am I spending my money on right now that I can cut in order to put that money towards something else? It could also be like, what jobs am I working? What are my income streams? How am I making the money in order to get to that $1 million? What am I trying to just hit $1 million for 1 year's income? Do I just want to see $1 million in my bank account? Do I want to touch $1 million? Do I want to maintain it? That's where those logistics come in. Like, what do I really want and how can I get there? And then Audacity. So for me, the way that I try to take action is by figuring out what the repeating steps are. What is the routine I can get into that'll help me continue to move along, make progress each day? Progress daily is going to be so useful. It's going to be so helpful because little steps each day leads to bigger progress than just you did a lot this 1 month. You did a lot next quarter. You did a lot the next year. Those are great, but the way that it compounds, that's compound interest, which goes towards a financial goal if that's what you have. Learn about compound interest and how that can benefit you. That $10 you may be putting into that account each month may be better than somebody's $50 that they put once a year. What I recommend you do if you want to start stepping into the GLAD framework, into this GLAD energy, you want to be glad, bring glad into your life. First, I recommend that you sit down with one of your goals. Just choose one to start. And you begin with gratitude. Ground yourself. Gratitude is to ground you. Write down everything about where you are now, what you have, what support you can lean on, all of those things. That's what you want to write down for gratitude. And then you're going to go to delusion. So we do gratitude first, and then we fill out delusion. So under the delusion, you want to write down the same things you wrote for gratitude, but for where you want to be versus where you are now. So gratitude, you may be saying, hey, right now, I live in an apartment. I pay this much in rent. I have this much allocated towards my bills. This is the city that I live in, etc. And then under delusion, maybe like, I want a 4-bedroom house with heated floors. I want to pay a mortgage between $250,000 to $300,000 a year. I mean, for the home. I want, you start to list those different things out. I want a 2-car garage. I want an electric stove. Make those things clear so you can see the stark difference between where you are and where you're going. And then we work on our middle, logistics. What do you need to do to get from that apartment to that house? Some of the things you're going to need to do, you're going to need to find a real estate agent. You're going to need to look for properties. You're going to need to work on your credit score. Make sure your credit score is good. You may even need to start packing. Depending on how quick you are with your process, maybe it's time for you to go buy some boxes and start slowly putting clothes into boxes. It's time for you to start buying the different things or saving up for the furniture that you want to buy. If you want all new furniture, start building your Pinterest board out so you can have that vision and share it with the people who are helping you. Who is going to help you be able to get to this house? That's something you should have already wrote down. But what are they doing? How are you holding them accountable to making sure that they are doing what they need to do in order to support you? That's your logistics. Logistics is your plan. So we talked about gratitude. Gratitude is grounding you. We talked about delusion. Delusion is the reality you're going to step into. Logistics is your planning. And Audacity is action. You already know where you are. You know where you're going. And you know what you need to do. The last thing is just to do it. It's time to act. It's time to do it. So GLAD is a very simple framework. It's very easy to use. You can plug and play it with a lot of different things that you have going on. Now it's time for learning out loud. So we learning out loud. Today for learning out loud, we have a word of the week. Our word of the week is corpulent. Corpulent is an adjective meaning having a large, bulky body. It stems from the Latin word corpus, which means body, and then it transformed into corpulentus, which still meant body in Latin, and we landed on corpulent, which is an adjective in English. Using it in a sentence, the corpulent man struggled to climb the stairs. Again, our word of the week is corpulent, which is an adjective meaning having a large, bulky body. Thank you for tuning in to the Multifaceted Mindset Podcast. Be sure to follow, subscribe, and share this episode with someone who needs to hear it. Sincerely, Multifaceted Black Guy.